3 games left. Graham Potter takes his West Ham side to Old Trafford to face a changeable and unpredictable Manchester United side who have a European final to contend with in just a couple of weeks' time as they take on Tottenham, where we unbelievably will all become Manchester United fans for a day. I hope you are all well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Match preview, Man United, West Ham, the game that we always go up there, play half decent and end up losing 1-0. It's just the way it is. And got a couple of guests joining me. Larry, first of all, nice to see you, mate. How are you?
Very good. Jake, Bill, how's everything going? Excited to get this season over with and start from fresh next year.
Yeah, I think I will echo that sentiment of Phil as well. You right, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Jake. Hope you're well.
Good.
Hope you're well too, Larry.
Absolutely. Right now, we do have Gary. However, I think he's converted his office into a steam room because that's a bit better. Gary, what on earth is going on? You are not telling me that you have not converted your office into a steam room.
I certainly haven't. Maybe it's just that I'm so angry about West Ham's performances. The steam's coming out of my head.
Well, maybe that is where the steam's coming from. Yes, obviously you didn't see it beforehand. Gary came on another device, and it looked like he was like swimming in like the clouds. It was interesting. Rather symbolic of the West Ham season where no players really cared about it, and we now get to this point, Manchester United away. And I was watching the Bournemouth Villa game earlier on, and I looked at the league table, and you think, do you know what? If we win tomorrow, we go above Manchester United and Tottenham, and they're 16th and 17th. I mean, that would be quite nice. But then again, Larry, I'll start with you. I just don't see where it's coming from.
I don't. I think as the season progressed, we kept going further and further down. So I try to set a goal where we want to be. And I think last week I had it on my after-action reaction review is that my goal now is if we can try to get above Tottenham, the Spuds, and Manor. If we could do that, it's good. But I don't know where it's going to come from. I watched that game last week, and it's just like the continuing not being able to finish. We actually were sitting back at some time trying to counter. And it's disappointing, and I try to look back and say what went wrong goal wise, and we really know what we can say all we want about Kudus running around. Oh, he's been effective. Has he hit the ball in the net? Basic football, right? The ball has to go into the net, and then West Ham just has been able to done. So I don't know. I'm cheering for it, but it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's just reached a sense of apathy within everybody, to be honest. 100%. The season has just been written off. It's just, let's get through it. Let's get to that final day and let's hear that full-time whistle at Portman Road in a couple of weeks' time. But it would be nice in one of these games for us to actually turn up and put in a constructive performance to go into the end of the season. So we can sit here at the end of the season, Phil, and go, you know what? It was awful, absolutely. But there was that one game out of the last 3 where it symbolised a bit of hope and a bit of encouragement.
I mean, it's not going to happen, let's face it. but just for the sake of this, it'd be nice to do it against Man United because we should have got. I mean, it'd be nice if we had 3 points against Tottenham, which it was, by the sound of it, was probably not going to happen. But we like being in this little mini league with them, for the last couple of months with Spurs and Man United. So it would be nice to get something. If it's scrappy, it's scrappy. We're sort of used to that anyway. But it'd be nice to finish as high as possible, even though it's really not going to happen.
No. Gary, one of my biggest concerns is last week was Tottenham at home, and I didn't watch it, so I'm going to go off of what people have said in terms of there wasn't a vast improvement in terms of the work rate and the ethic and the way we were going about it. And if you can't get yourself as a West Ham player motivated for that game, then you just pack it in, right? That's my concern about it currently, because it might have been a little bit better, but by the sounds of it, again, a game which we should have won if we were just that little bit better. How are you feeling about West Ham, Gary?
Well, honestly, Jake, I'm bored. It's the first time ever been a West Ham fan. I watch every game at home, as you know, so you dig it all up. It's boring. It's really, really, really boring. We've got no identity and no passion. We've got no one that wants to play for the club. He continues to pick the same players who, like Danny Ings, is on the bench. What's the point? Where's the youngsters? Why don't they play the youngsters? I don't understand why he's not playing the youngsters. They play him at Manchester United, they play him at Arsenal, they play him at Liverpool, they play him at Chelsea. They play him at West Ham. Ever. Makes 0 sense. There's no identity to the club. We're worse now than we were under J-Lo. This is the worst season I can remember. We've got no chance of beating Man United tomorrow. If they want the game, they'll win. Forest will be a really tough game next week because they need to win for the Champions League, and Ipswich will probably turn us over as well. I can't see us getting another point this season, sadly to say.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? Let's take some comments. Michael, thanks for joining us. Fight ahead as well. We will talk about the players that have left the club in just so we haven't left the club. I'll go into leave the club confirm. We'll go into that in a little more detail in just a second. If we'd been offered a finish above Man United and Spurs at the start of the season, we would have taken it. We would have been dreaming of, get the passports back out. Where are we off to on the European tour? Not to be.
Exactly. We would have thought we were in the top 10 at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Michael says the board have set Potter a target of 1 point for the rest of the season, and Potter replied, "How the hell do you want me to do that?" Oh, dearie me. Just imagine if the bottom three had a good season, it would be West Ham, Spurs, and Man United going on. Somebody mentioned that the other day in terms of if you put the three teams from 2 seasons ago who all stayed up, if you put those three in, we are struggling big time, as are Spurs and Manchester United. And yes, then maybe if they were a threat of going down, then they'd have inserted a little bit more into that in terms of,
we haven't got 40 points yet.
Europa League. But
we haven't got 40 points. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. Now this is a big question. Will anybody in the stadium will anybody be in the stadium for the players lap around the pitch next Saturday? Now if we lose, they will be clapping to empty seats, and it will provide a stark contrast. I've just thought of this to last season when was it Luton at home we won, and it was David Moyes' final lap round, and the place was practically full, and it was a really, really nice moment. They're going to be clapping to empty seats next week if it's anything like we've seen in recent weeks.
Yep, I agree.
Which is painful, to be totally honest. But let's talk about these players that have left the club then. So it's Fabianski, Ings, Soufal and Creswell, I believe, are the 4 that have gone.
And Zuma as well.
Sorry?
Zuma as well.
Of course, yeah. With a combined age of about 892, those 4 players will leave the club at the end of June. Larry, are there any names there that you disagree with letting go?
Not at all. I think the true still is Cressy. He's been there 11 years or so. He the last 2 years, and we know we had some struggles. He's actually came in some matches this year and actually that's half decent and stuff like that. He struggled the last couple. It was a matter of time.
As well. My apologies. Soufal, I forgot him.
Yeah, Soufal's one that he's another one, and he does some great crosses. But right now, he's at a point in his career where he can't mark a turtle. He is so slow, and he leaves his behind. It's sad. Fab, 40 years old, and I'm not a young man myself, but it's time to roll on. And so I think they're all kind of totally on spot, But some of them I'm happy they're going. Ings, whatever, he was just a waste of our money, I believe. And but. All respect to all of them, especially Cresswell and Fab. And I guess, at the time.
Yeah, I think the fullbacks will receive the most praise. Keepers don't really receive the praise. And Fabianski has been a decent servant to the club. He's had his funny moments, as all keepers do.
I did put I was hoping you were going to talk about Fab and stuff. I did put this is about 2020 goalie kit on in tribute to Fab.
Absolutely, and he has been a good servant to the club. But in terms of Creswell, I've seen a bit on social media, and I didn't realise it's 11 years he's been at the club. And again, it's a symbol of, I think, is he the final or final? Oh, I think Antonio was there, but one of the final players from the Bolin year. And of course, with that being on this day, what is it? 9 years ago now. Wow. Since we left the Bolin on this day, the 10th of May, that fateful night against Manchester United. Funnily enough, there's a lot of similarities here, isn't there? But Creswell, 11 years at the club, countless games, countless brilliant performances, and he was always rejuvenated a little bit this season in that back three, protected on that left-hand side of the centre halves. But I think it's probably right to let him go. And if he gets a club in the Championship for a season, or a team coming up into the Premier League, maybe, I don't know, or he just packs it in, whatever he does, I think Aaron Creswell should be, first of all, held in pretty high regard at West Ham, Phil.
100%. He's been 11 years. Fantastic servant for the club. He's had his moments, as you said, but there's been a few times, especially over the last probably 5 or 6 years, where he looks like he's lost his way, but then it seems to get his form and he's back like a born again left back again. Yeah, like I said, he was there, one of the last ones from the bowling era. He's the last one from the Big Sam era as well.
Mm.
So it shows how long he's been at the club. Um, yeah, it's a shame that he's going, but it was going to happen, and it is time to sort of get rid of that old guard in the best way possible, really. And I know he's going to get a fantastic send off on that last home game, and I'm sure there'll be a championship club. You've got Wrexham and Birmingham.
Mm.
They got money, so they might want an experienced left back. He's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah,
Mhm.
potentially. And I mean, he's scored countless free kicks over the years. And Gary, I think there's some similarities between you and Aaron Cresswell. I was just thinking, scored plenty of free kicks in their heyday, uses an obscene amount of hair gel. I mean, you and Aaron Cresswell, you're, pristine hair with the hair gel. I mean, you've got a lot of similarities, Gary, really, haven't you?
Yeah, me and Aaron are very similar. No,
Yeah.
I don't wear head gel, Jay, as well you know. I think I would have given him another year, Aaron Cresswell. I think he's good in the
Really?
dressing room, and he's good. He knows what it means to play for West Ham. So I think for those two reasons, I'll give him another year. Let the rest of them go. I think he's done all right in the back three this year.
Yeah.
He's still got one of the best first touches at the club. He's good at dead balls. I agree, he's not a starter, but someone's a squad player. I'll give him another year myself. But that's down by
And
the by.
again, I just sort of raised some questions yesterday. I mean, I don't know how much she's on in terms of wages, but it can't be much. I mean, England's on 125 grand a week. I don't think Creswell's on a ridiculous amount of money. I think I'm inclined to agree with you, Gary, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I know why he is going, absolutely. But if I was in charge, I'd be having one look at the amount of players that are currently reported to be leaving from the first team
Yeah,
and realising, blimey, we're going to have nothing left here, right? I mean, it seems like if the reports and rumours are right, then we're going to put off half the first team are going to be out of the door this summer. All of a sudden, we're letting go basically all of our string players now as well. I mean, Soufal, again, a reluctant departure. I love him, brilliant. Hasn't scored a goal for the club. I'd love him to score it Ipswich away. If he scores, we're on the pitch. There's no doubt about that. Larry, you seem eager.
We can't have both here. And like I said, I agree Cresswell's done well, but we got to have Skiles come in. We got to have the youth. We can't have the youth, and we can't have the Social Security people that are 60 years old. We got to have one or the other.
Larry Cresswell can teach Skiles a lot. That's why
I guess, and you guys know more than me. Then is he taking up a position on the bench that we could use for someone else? I guess that's the biggest question. I get the point totally, Gary, with you on the teaching and the mentorship and the stuff like that. Like even like Nobes did in his latter years on the club.
He doesn't even need to be on the bench. He needs to be in the squad, just around the grounds.
Okay, good shout. I agree with that. I hear you there. Okay,
and to be fair, I mean, he hasn't had a stinker this season. I've not
No,
walked out
he
of the
hasn't.
ground once and went, Cresswell was awful today. Right, and he's played quite a few games under Potter. In that back three, everyone wrote him off. Everybody said his West Ham career's done. Why are we keeping him here? And he's had some really good performances this season. I completely understand why we let him go. I do. He's old. He's getting to the end of his career, and we're trying to get rid of some of the players to make way for new talent. Absolutely, but as I said, I'd just be a little bit concerned with the amount of players that are leaving. Cresswell is one of the ones that we could have kept for another year quite easily and comfortably, and he could have probably given us something next season. Maybe Soufal's one of those players as well to be a backup, because now all of a sudden we've got to buy all the players to replace the first team. We've now got to buy a backup left back, a backup right back,
you know what, Joe?
a keeper.
I don't think Soufal was our decision. I think he wanted to go because he wants to get the first team. I think
I agree with that. Yeah.
If that's the case, then fair enough. Again, another brilliant servant to the club. Phil Soufal came 2020. He's been here 5 years, half a decade at the club. I remember his first game. I think it was Leicester away where we beat them. Was it 3 or 4-0? 4-0 scored that goal, and we signed him for £5 million, and we were like, oh, what's this play going to be like? And he was brilliant, and he never looked back. The last year deteriorated slightly, but again, another brilliant servant to the club.
Definitely a great servant. We've always been a bit iffy with right backs for a long time until he showed up, and he just cemented that place straight away. No nonsense. You know what you get with him. He loves the club, and it's yeah, it feels like he sort of has been hard done by the club. You know, being probably one of the lowest paid first teamers anyway, with like 35 grand a week, which obviously in football terms is less than minimum wage really in the Premier League. So yeah, it's the same really. But we before this season started, we knew that we needed an upgrade on him anyway, which obviously we managed to get. But um, yeah, hopefully he'll find somewhere and get some game time, and I'm sure he'll be always welcome back at the club
I
when
think
he's
he's the sort
retired.
of player you can link to Fornals, another player that we've
Yeah,
let go, but we've got droves of appreciation for the player.
yeah,
And you even look as Fornals as Real Betis side have got through to the Europa Conference League final. There's loads of West Ham fans, wishing him well and hoping that he
mm,
beats Chelsea first of all, and gets another Conference League title on his on his CV. And I think Soufal's going to be another one of those Moyes era players like Fornals. I know Pellegrini signed Fornals, but I mean Moyes evolved him and developed him into the player
mm.
that he was. But yeah, that sort of era is slowly disintegrating. But I mean, yeah, in terms of left back, you think Emerson's staying, which I've heard different reports in terms of Emerson that maybe he wants to go as well. So you'd like to think if we're letting Creswell go and Soufal go, both who can play on each side, then you'd like to think Emerson's staying. Because if Emerson's going, all of a sudden we've got probably 3 fullbacks before we've even started thinking about the rest of the first team. I mean, blimey.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm not in
Everybody
charge.
feel about Souček? Keep him or sell him?
He's got to
Souček.
stay. He's got to
That's a
stay.
good question. That's a good. Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
If you take his, if you
Moyes
take
really
away
wants to
his,
do it.
if you take away his 9 goals this season, we go down.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, he
And
might not look the most mobile, but he still pops up with the goals.
Strongly wants him.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole Moyes thing is a concern. Like if like Moyes wasn't there, I wouldn't be too bothered about it. But this whole Moyes thing is what's going to pull him away. I think he loves the club, that's clear. But if anyone's going to pull him away, it's going to be David Moyes. It's just like God of like Premier League football. David Moyes, he looks up to him like God. And I think if the offer's on the table, I think he'll go. Unfortunately, but he's not the most pretty footballer in the world in terms of with the ball at his feet. But the guy scores goals. Right, and he scores some really crucial goals that have won us points, and he's basically top goal scorer this season. I think Bowen's got 1 or 2 more, but he is fighting Bowen to the end for that top goal scorer spot, which is quite remarkable again. And he's had seasons where he scored 9 and 10 goals regularly, and I think it would be a mistake to let him go, to be honest. But I've got an inkling that we might. Larry?
No, 100%. Like you said, he's got 8 goals. Bowen's leading with 10. So you looked at it, it's 18 out of our 40 goals. 50% are coming from them. And the thing is, we've been so bad at finishing, especially in the middle. Souček has been one of those guys that was in there, and how many headers are putting his head in there, and it goes into the net at the end of the day. So if we start losing all these other people, it's I just think potato salad's got to stick around.
And it's also the physicality in our own box as well. Like he'll win headers, and he is a a presence defensively as well when he goes back for set pieces. Phil?
Yeah, Souček, he needs to stay. He is an aerial presence. If you start getting rid of him, and then the rest will follow, and then you ain't got no spine of a team left, and it's just a load of like what it already is now, is just a load of individuals, and then that'll be the end of us, really. So yeah, he's got to stay.
Yeah, Gary, I've got a sense you're gonna disagree with the crowd here.
No, I tend to agree largely. I think he loves the club. You can tell that. But money talks, Jake. It's going to offer 30 million, 40 million for Souček. You've got to take it 40 million for Souček, for example.
Oh yeah, I don't think they'll offer that much, but yeah.
No, but if they did by some miraculous miracle, then you take 40 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's a funny player to describe. Because as a midfielder, he's useless. Because he's technically you can't tackle, he can't pass, he can't dribble, he can't run.
But
he spots. He's brilliant.
Oh, I think we lost Gary there. There we are. Okay, we got you back. Right. I mean, this is the big question of all. Hi to everyone. The question for Larry: is he the American investor who is apparently interested in buying shares at West Ham. Now, before he confirms or denies this, I think it's clear to say that, you know, Larry sits there in his like mansion in Kentucky, right, with his acres of land out the back, and you see there he's in the west wing of his palace there. Like you can see the posts and the Victorian windows and the gloriousness. And I've heard word on the street that he is considering investing in the club and becoming manager. I've heard as well. Wow.
In my dreams. I tell you, if I had anything, it would be my dream to be part of West Ham. So, but it's unfortunately I'm not a billionaire, and unfortunately I'm not part of that team group.
Yeah, that's what they all say, right? That's what they all say. Now, putting that back into this game tomorrow, then Manchester United through to the Europa League final, and have our full support in that, unwavering support in that Europa League final. There's no doubt about that. And they're, of course, an unpredictable side. They're 15th. Like, I mean, you say Man United and you say tough game. They're 15th, right? They're 2 points, 1 point above us in the Premier League. And you put that into context of how awful we've been this season. They've been just as bad. So it's a level playing field in that sense. But they're at home. It's Old Trafford. They're going to beat us, aren't they? Predictions, guys?
Where to begin?
Right.
Who's going first?
Who is going
I think
first?
that silence just says it all, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah,
Okay.
It's quite symbolic. Yeah.
I will go first.
Oh, Larry knows how this works. He's going to get in there first and know Nick's prediction.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but I remember. The biggest thing is, just like Tottenham Spuds and Manure, they played well in this European League. And hey, we're not going to hate on that because we got a trophy from it too. So I'm not going to wish any of them luck. But they both aren't playing good in the Prem, period. They lay eggs when it comes to the weekend matches. And I think, and I'm hoping, this is going to be one of those times, Jake, like you said, out of this year, there's always like 2 or 3 games out of the whole entire season where we show up and those passes go into finish. So I'm going to go with it 2-1 West Ham. Well, 1-2, but you know what I mean.
There we go. So the 2-1 West Ham prediction is gone. Who's next? I leave it up to you two to fight it out.
I'll go next, Phil. I think the other way, 2-1 to Man United. No one's talking about the home win. That's the luckiest win I've ever seen West Ham ever get in my life. They outplayed us.
Yeah, they did.
So that was no way was that a penalty. The ref for some reason gave us one. And then we won in the 90th minute. So we're owed one. So I think we'll lose one.
And Phil, don't take my prediction.
Hopefully it's not your prediction then. It's a very, very dour 1-0 to Man United.
Oh, that's an awful match to watch, Phil. Awful.
Oh,
now my heart was in my mouth there because I have found some optimism, and I'm going to agree with our member of the channel for 39 months, right? Blimey. It feels like this season's gone on for 39 months. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 1. One of the boringest, awful games, and it's a Souček goal off of his knee, bundled home. Does the helicopter round, and we win 1-0. Job done, and we get a bit of hope. Just a small bit of hope. Sharky, thank you very much indeed for your continual support to us. 3-1 Man United, 3-1 Man United. Desmond, 2-1 West Ham. There we are. So some varying predictions. Score draw there as well. 1-1. So plenty of different predictions. Michael, a member for 6 months. Thank you for your support. Desmond 2-2 is what Michael is going for. Evening, Andy. I hope you are well. Now, I mean, this is a worrying. I mean, we've got in the last 6, we've got lost, draw.
Yeah.
And of course, we drew the last game, which means blimey, I've forgotten, haven't I? I have forgotten. I mean, he's been away for too long.
How can this guy be a producer of the dang show and forget about the stat report?
It's time. Right, I'm rusty. Well, I mean, when you part-timers turn up, right, you've got to refresh my memory a little bit. Last week, you two, Gary, Larry, I was there on my own, right? I had to talk for 20 minutes on my own because you, Mike, Nigel, nobody turned up, right?
How you get on driving now, Jake?
I've passed.
I know. How you get on driving on your own?
Not yet. I'm not insured yet, but
Oh,
yeah. Last Thursday, the test was passed. Excellent. I was quite shocked, to be
fantastic.
honest. So
I told
How
everyone,
many
I told everyone in
minors?
the area you're coming down to see your girlfriend, Jake. So everyone's cleared the road for you.
watch out, Jake's about. I'll tell you in fair warning when I'm on the road, Gary. Don't you worry about that, my friend.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Do you know what I might do? I might do a pit stop at your mansion on the way as well, and just see if
Exactly.
you're all right.
You do whatever you like, Jake. You're more than welcome.
I don't know if the security guards are going to let you in.
Well, no, because because I'll have to leave 10 minutes early because you've got to go up on his drive, and you've got to wait for his electric gate to open, right? And then you've got to be, welcomed by the butlers and that, everything else that Gary has.
The
So,
dog.
the
Take
dog,
your
yeah.
shoes off. Take your shoes off before you go into his house.
Oh yeah,
that's
blimey,
right.
shoes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
A very fine establishment, even though it looks like a steam room tonight. But so, without further ado, it's been a while, but it's time to return to the world famous Let's Get My Music Out. We've done predictions already. It's a nightmare. Let's go over. Where's my picture? That's Mike. No, wrong one. Larry's stat attack. Larry, it's over to you. Take it away, my friend.
Sorry for the delay. I know everybody was waiting on this. We have faced Man U 57 times in the Prem. Unfortunately, our record is 10, 13, and 44. Which, well, that could be wrong, or that's wrong. But yeah, we've lost 44 times, which is pretty terrible. But the last 3 times we won last October 2-1. That's the one I think that Gary was referring to. Then we beat the Man U beat us in February 3-0. We beat them December 23, 2-0. So the last 3 matches, we actually been playing okay. In form right now, we're exactly the same. Both of us in the last 5 matches have 0 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. Leading the goal for them and an assist is Fernandez, who is a solid Portuguese player. My wife would like him because she's Portuguese. And then we got Bowen for us, leading goalie at 10 and Potato Salad at 8. Again, Bowen is 7. I know we got Juan as probably the player of the year, but we can never forget about our captain who's really showing up when the rest of the team's not. And then for goals, totally, they've scored 42 this year. We scored 40. They've given up 51. We've given up 59. But I think since Potter's come down, we have reduced in the giving up the goals, but we just can't finish and we can't score. So that is my stat attack.
There we go. It's been a hot minute.
That's the question. When was the last time we won at Old Trafford? Was it in the
in the cup?
Well, that's a good question.
Was it the Carabao Cup? Lanzini scored 2021.
We won that. That was
1-0. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today because we've been in the cup every year up there basically, but we've lost all the other ones. But that Carabao Cup game, because we played him the week before, and that was the Lingard scored against us. Then we had a bit of revenge, didn't we?
In the league, I think. Until under Roder, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think under Roder last time we won in the league.
There was Tevez in the last game of the season when we stayed up.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, well, Phil, that's the one.
What year was that, Phil? Phil?
2007.
That was the year I was born, to make you all feel nice and old.
2007. Holy mackerel! I do feel old now.
Yeah, I was 12.
I was not even. Well, I was nearly in living existence then.
I think the shorts I'm wearing are older than you. I don't know. Golly.
Oh dear. There we are. That is our preview for Manchester United versus West Ham. 3 games to go for us next week. Ipswich on the final day of the season. We will be at Portman Road for that one. Hopefully a bit of a party and Soufal scoring to cap off his West Ham career and say hello to Millwall on repeat then. But we've got a couple of games to contend with before then, and hopefully we can get one up off Man United, shake their hand and go, make sure you beat Tottenham in a couple of weeks in the Europa League final. That is the most important thing about all of this.
100%.
There's something for you. Would you rather lose this game but guarantee that Tottenham lose the Europa League final?
Yes. 100%.
Absolutely. I'm in agreement. Yeah. Well, 2007, the world changed. Jake Cox was brought into this world. I mean, the world is eternally thankful and grateful for my presence, I'm aware.
Aren't we all?
Oh, bless. There we are. Larry, you have been vindicated for your absence for about 18 months. So
My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, serious contract negotiations are going to have to be undertaken ahead of next season, right? 2 this week, 0 last week. The team is waning, right? Honestly, the team is waning.
I was on
And we
holiday,
were
Jake. I was sunning myself in the Canary Islands.
Were you? Well, that's no excuse. Phil, that's no excuse, is it? On holiday, right? You can't be on holiday. Come on.
Canary Islands.
Don't do holidays.
No, don't do holidays. I agree.
Don't
Yeah.
do holidays.
Yeah. Not when you
Really?
have got a prestigious spot on West Ham Unofficial. You don't go off on holiday until the season is over, right?
Exactly. If you can do a day trip, that's the most
The
you can
season's
do.
over on January the 9th and we lost to Villa, Jake.
Very true. Very true. Very true. There we are. From us. Come on, you eyes. And we will see you soon. Right
Glory,
here.
glory, Man United.
In Bilbao, that's for sure. We'll see you
Yes.
soon. Bye bye.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you very much.